What up, what up, what up? Hey, everybody, hope you're doing well. Hey, I just want to let you know, I know everybody can't always support and donate to the podcast, but hey, if you can do a one-time donation, I put up a Buy Me a Coffee link in this description of the podcast. So if you go to the description of the podcast, it'll be at the bottom, and you can just go to that link, and you can buy me a cup of coffee, or two if you want. And that would just help support the show, and I can wake up a little bit more and bring you more info. So thanks for listening to the podcast. If you can donate, that would be much appreciated. And let's get on to the show. What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to Lockdown Universe, home of the bizarre, peculiar, and unheard of stories of UFO legend and paranormal lore. Welcome back, welcome back. Happy to be back. Hopefully you guys are doing excellent and taking care of yourselves. I am happy to be back. Man, there's been so much stuff going on with with the world, with COVID, with not even COVID. I mean, just people being sick in general. It's not even COVID anymore. They're calling it white lung syndromes, all kinds of stuff. So anyway, I just thought it was interesting because I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about kind of the world and what this Linda Moulton Howe actually came out with a story where she had talked to an official who stated he was retiring. And he said, I got to talk to somebody. So let me talk to you, because he knew Linda was a big proponent of the UFO world, and that if anybody was going to be able to get the word out at the time, because Linda Moulton Howe has been a humongous UFO researcher and you know, written many books, he said, I got to talk to her. So this retiring official stated, like many high-ranking military officials, that you would not believe what I'm about to tell you. The reality of what you think reality is not reality. And it's not just the Matrix we're just talking about. Like, we are in a physical world. We're living in a physical world. But the aliens and the alien agenda and how aliens are working is just not what you think they are. So he stated, my job, that's what he started with, my job is to investigate the warring relationship that three extraterrestrial races have been having, and how they are being affected and affecting Earth, and how they've been manipulating the genetics on Earth for, I can't remember how many millions of years she stated, but I think it was like 270 million years, something like that. It was insane. But the interesting fact was that she talked about the fact that it was the blondes, the reptilians, and the grays, and how they're all fighting against each other for dominance over the planet. Now, the other thing, we know that, right? This is not new information. What we're talking about, what's interesting, is that they're talking about how these beings have discovered a way in which to teleport their bodies, teleport their intelligences into bodies that resemble the other beings' bodies. So I found that particularly fascinating, because this is exactly what we've been talking about for a long time. We've been talking about how aliens have been kind of gathering up DNA, but they've also been gathering up souls, or the theory of souls being transported out of one body into another body. They call it like this Lazarus technology, where they're able to continue the existence of the soul that's on the planet and just transport it into another body. They call it quantum liquid. And what they figured out, with their massive technology, is that they can take a soul of one of their species, let's say the blondes, right? The blonde NORDIX species. They could take that species and teleport it, the soul of that species, into a body that they've created that looks exactly like a reptilian, and put it into that body, and then try to gain access into areas in which the reptilians can gain access to here on Earth, whether it's reptilian bases, whether it's U.S. bases where the reptilians are working with, or whether it's other bases with which they can work with as well. So it becomes really, really fascinating because think about it. It's like putting on a mask, right? It's like having an ID badge and then allowing yourself to just go into any government base, military base, or any other kind of base using that ID. I mean, it's fucking phenomenal. Phenomenal ID. So think about that for a second. It's like espionage, right? It's espionage. So this is what this government official who was retiring was telling Linda Moulton Howe, is that these guys have the capability. The blondes came up with it first, interestingly enough, because we always think the reptilians are the smartest. They're not always the smartest. But they have developed that and thought about that for quite a long time. And then the reptilians got wind of it. How did they get wind of it? Well, they might have gotten wind of it because if they use a lot of psychic energy, they can go into your mind and kind of see what you're thinking. Well, if you transported your soul into another body, that's called great. On the outside, it looks like you're one of them. But on the inside, you're not. And on the inside, you're thinking, okay, I'm a spy. I'm trying to get in here, getting this information. And if they can psychically go in, just look at your psyche and say, oh, well, this is the psyche of a blonde. Clearly, they're just trying to manipulate and get their way into our base. We're not going to let them do that. So, that's the technology I'm wondering how they got, right? Like, how did they get technology where they were able to manipulate them to the point where they think that they are one of them? That, is there some sort of like ID that is on the psyche, that's imprinted on the psyche, that would look like one of them? That's what's really fascinating to me, and I just don't know. I don't know if they could ever do that. But then again, we just can't comprehend their technology. I mean, so what's science fiction to us is science fact to them. What this high-ranking official did tell Linda Moulton Howe was that that Earth has come up with a technology to look at them and to see which ones were real, which blondes are actual blonde Nordic aliens, not some reptilian soul in a Nordic bowl, like I always say, and vice versa, not a blonde in a reptilian body. So they have the technology to see this and to try to figure it out and try to understand. So he said, what you think, is real and capable is, we have far beyond the technology, whatever you can create in your own mind, your own imagination. So it made me think, okay, this is what a high-ranking official is telling her. Well, what about like, humans in general? So if these spacefaring beings can do this, we probably got the technology to do it ourselves. And it makes me think about, who's right in front of you? Are the people that are right in front of you really another being that's entered into a human body? And we talk about possession all the time, right? Like, this paranormal phenomenon of possession and, whatever, demonic possession or angelic possession even. Is it possible that these beings, can take over humans easily and then have them pop up, and talk to you? This is, I think there was a book, if I'm not mistaken, there was a book that was written about an infiltration at the Pentagon, or aliens at the Pentagon, where aliens had penetrated the Pentagon on high-ranking officials. Think about how easy it would be for them to just psychically manipulate a high-ranking chief of staff, get him to say, hey, man, we got to go to war with Russia. I got this intel. And convince the president to, go to war with Russia, start firing off weapons. That's definitely possible. And that's what's really scary to me. I think that's kind of like what, Ingo Swann was talking about, where he encountered some lady in a red dress and and at a grocery store, and she told him telepathically, like, hey, yeah, I'm a reptilian in human form. Ingo Swann, if you don't know who he is, go do some research on him. He worked for the government. He was a remote viewer and worked for, what is it? He worked for the CIA, but he was a contractor. He wasn't like an employee. He worked for one of the major Ivy League schools as well, and was a teacher, professor, but he was always brought in on these paranormal contracts to teach remote viewing and to do remote viewing. And he remote viewed like Mars and all these other planets, and encountered all these extraterrestrials telepathically. And all, I mean, just, he's got so many books. Just go get a couple of his books and read them. But anyway, that's what makes me, fearful and very, very inquisitive, and I don't know what the right word is. I'm looking for the word. Cynical is not necessarily the right word, but protective of myself and of the people that I talk to. Like if, you get somebody up on your doorstep, you don't know if they're a salesman. You don't know if they're, a person that's, trying to get information from you. You don't know if they're a person that's a spy. You don't know if they're a person that is, that doesn't like your wife, and you don't know. People dress up all the time as something that they're not. They might dress up as a construction worker to go, infiltrate a building, for information. I mean, this stuff happens all the time. It's not paranoia. It's not, conspiracy. It happens all the time. People do it all the time. People wear masks to go into banks. I mean, people go in everywhere. They go to do things all the time. So, when people show up on my doorstep, I'm like, well, who the hell are you? I don't know who you are. You look like a salesman. I don't know if you're a salesman. Maybe you're trying to break into my house. This shit happens all the time. So this is why I don't like people showing up at my door, man. I don't like it. I don't trust people. I just don't. I don't like it. Get a no solicitor sign. That's what I need to get. Because you don't know. Even on Earth, we don't know who people are. They lie all the time, and we don't know. There's people who dress up, and we don't know. They just wear different clothes, and we don't know who they are. They represent different stations in our society. Now we have these stories coming out from high-ranking officials stating that even if you see a human, they might not even be a freaking human. So now you got that problem on your hands. It's just like, I think that's why if they start to give us information, they're going to have to explain other things that they don't want to explain, because then once it gets to this point of the story, this particular podcast that we're talking about, it gets to a point where everybody will not trust anyone, and it kind of becomes anarchy. It becomes, you don't believe what you see in front of your eyes. You can't, because that's not what people are going to do anymore if they get this kind of information. So how do you feel knowing this, right? Now that we have a high-ranking official telling Linda Moulton Howe, who I believe nearly 100%, she's always been a legitimate source of information, never tried to deceive people. Now there are agents that are out there, disinformation agents out there. She's not one of them. There are people out there that are like Linda, that are reporters that get disinformation. I don't think this is one of them. I believe that the reptilians and the NORDIX have been fighting for millennia, and that the 65 million year ago blast on the planet was some sort of explosive that was against one from one species to another. Theoretically, we believe it was the NORDIX against the reptilians. The reptilians were here first. The NORDIX wanted to have control over the planet, and the reptilians have just been notorious for being, bastards, for being evil, for dominating planets, and the blondes wanted to take over. So, this is where, a lot of pieces of the puzzle, like I always say, a lot of pieces of the puzzle come together. But when you put this piece out there into the world, it makes people schizophrenic almost, and I'm not using that in a derogatory term. I've worked in mental health. I feel for people that do suffer from schizophrenia, but imagine how the rest of society who doesn't have schizophrenia or suffer from it would look if this information got out, right? Or if it, it's out there, okay? It's out there. But if people believed it, what would it take for people to believe it? If people in high-ranking officials, like president or, somebody in the presidency or in the cabinet or whatever, said this is real. Now, it would be interesting to see if another country's president said this is real, and would we believe that? Because other countries have come out and said that aliens are real. We've talked to them. We've engaged with them. The Canadian defense minister came out. Paul Hellyer came out and talked about it decades ago. People still haven't changed. Society hasn't really changed, right? Could the government come out and say, yeah, aliens are real? Yeah, this is real. We've got crashed ships, blah, 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 blah. They could. We have whistleblowers that have already come out and said it. Could they come out and say, hey, there's also these big reptilian dudes that are a-holes that we're fighting? They could. Would people flip out? It seems like we're all too damn busy to even worry about aliens at all. We got to worry about our own damn existence, just day to day, being busy. If you got a family, forget about it. Forget about it. Only the far extreme people are going to go out into the forest and, try to live off the land or something like that. The rest of us, we still got to live, man. We still got to work. We still got to pay bills. Unless the government's going to say, hey, no more bills, no more nothing. Don't worry about anything. No, dude, we're all trapped in this system that we have to work and continue to live and take care of our children and take care of our loved ones. So it's just, we're all too damn busy to worry about it. But it is interesting. And maybe one day it'll come out to the big population. Maybe Linda will write about it, but it is a brand new piece of evidence and a theory and a concept. I shouldn't say even a theory. I should say a concept, an experiment that they can do, a capability, a technology that they can do that's really freaking fascinating, but that really kind of twists your mind a little bit too. Because then it just becomes to the point of, like the movie Fifth Wave. If you haven't seen that movie, it's a really good movie, where they broke down society so much and they told them that the others were here and they've already inhabited our bodies, and kind of like Case of the Body Snatchers, right? Where they inhabited, and then they had to use these goggles to see inside of the body to see if it was a human or if it was these others that had infiltrated. So, unless they're going to give us all a bunch of goggles, it could get real scary for a lot of people. Anyway, I'm going to end it here. It's a wild story. We could talk about this for hours and hours and hours. That's not what I do on the podcast. I give you guys these nuggets. I chew on them for a little bit. I give you guys my thoughts on it, and I let you think about it, and I bring out new ones. And when I find new stuff that's really interesting, I'll bring it to you. Again, it's been the holidays. Again, it's been a really busy week, and people have been sick. So apologize for not getting another podcast out, but I have another one already in the works as well. So I'll be bringing that out to you, and I got a couple more ideas. So I'm going to bring them out to you, and I think that you're going to like them. I think you're going to really get some entertainment, some knowledge nuggets, and some pieces that you may not have heard of, and it's going to be real fun. So anyway, guys, take care of yourselves, love yourselves. Take care of your family, your friends during this holiday season. I hope you guys have a great one. Follow through on your hobbies and your goals and your dreams. Sometimes life gets challenging and you can't do what you want to do all the time, like the podcast. I wish I could do it as much as I had been. So I'm continuing to do it as much as possible. So I love you guys. Thanks for listening, and take care of yourselves. Continue to question the universe around you. Lockdown Universe out.